So hey everyone and welcome back to ISLA NAPALI Guestflow episode. In today's episode we are going to take a look again into basically some of the things that we haven't been able to fix last week. But before we do so, you can see I just opened the park. I will briefly explain in a minute what exactly has been changed here and why I think it might be a better kind of flow today. However, first of all, a little update on my situation at the moment. I am willing to share that with you because I always feel like most of you are interested in that. So you've seen there have been less videos. Actually, well, it's pretty much still okay. I had the live stream yesterday, 2 days ago, to basically bring out some more content of ISLA NAPALI, and also because I needed to chill down a bit. The good thing is that most of our issues have been solved right now in terms of what actually has to be done. Financially, it will still be pretty tricky because basically the problem is that the insurance won't pay for our disaster. And for those of you who don't know, we had a serious water leak in the bathroom, and since we've just moved here, this caused major damage in some of the walls, which means that we have to redo 2 rooms. Not entirely, but for the most parts we have to redo the walls, redo all the wooden stuff on the walls, and also painting them again. Not major things that kind of ruin everything, but it's just very, very disappointing and very it brings you down when you just finished like 2 months ago, and then all of a sudden you have to redo that all again. And yeah, as I said, the insurance won't pay because it was basically a problem with the shower itself. So the material of the shower itself was not holding the shower bottom part together, if that makes sense to talk about like this, and so there was a water leak in the shower, and since there was no pipe or anything else, it's basically our fault, and this is why we need to pay, which is a bit tricky at the moment, since obviously you can imagine after having renovated everything, there is not too much money left. And we will still be able to do this, and I'm looking forward now to fixing it all. But this is also the reason why I didn't really have time to focus on making any videos or whatnot, even though I have holidays or like days off this week, which is even more disappointing because we wanted to keep that as a week to finally fix the last bits in our flat. But well, now we've been pushed back for a few months, so to say, and well, that's how it is. And we have to look forward now, and what we have to do, we have to look into today's episode. So what I did is I limited the park's guest amount to 5,000 guests. So we are running, we're still running 1,000 guests less than what the park is capable of. We can see that the major bottlenecks are starting to appear again. I hope that we will be able to spread them out a little bit more now by changing some of the cool things you guys have put into the comments, and I'm willing to raise the price even higher to $40 here. Maybe people are then willing to go less on this coaster. I don't know if this makes sense, but you guys have been commenting quite a lot about what we could do to improve the guest flow, and I think some of the things already helped. Also, this kids coaster seems to be too cheap for people. They're still rushing into it like hell, so let's change it this way. And maybe we also have to change the dive coaster in a bit, but we are just waiting until everyone is in the park, and then we can see. So we have a fairly equal share of people. As you can see, we have like basically exactly the same number of adults, of teens and families, which it doesn't make life easier for it's a very good thing that our park seems to be drawing exactly the same amount of people of every kind of social groups to us. However, this is a bit tricky in terms of focusing the park on one specific topic, so to say. Okay, but it seemed that it has already changed the whole thing a little bit over here, so people are not as much willing to go on this coaster as they have been before. So we have to change basically the same over here as well. Let's go to 38 and see where the sweet spot is, and speed up the whole process again, because I'm willing to see if that will mainly increase the whole thing. So it seems no one is actually going to this one right now, right? So we have to check if it's still creating really a bottleneck here, but not as bad as before. So let's see what their thoughts is. Okay. This is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we have to look into this even further. I want to see what the guest thoughts are, because if they're really thinking that the queue is too long, that would be a good thing, but at the moment it appears that they are not joining the coaster for the sake of money, but still creating a little bit of a bottleneck. Same goes for the kids coaster. It seems to be too expensive. So let's see if we can drop that down a little bit to 28 if they start going on this coaster then again. Still seems not to be the sweet spot, which is interesting. Okay, let's go more down to 25 then and see what people do then. 25 seems to be about still too expensive? Really? I don't remember what I had it earlier on, so let's put 20 in. Okay, 20 seems to be fine, so they're rushing in again. 22. I don't want to, like, I really want to see that there is a sweet spot. Not everyone goes on it, but still it seems to be everyone. So 23 again. Still people come in. Okay, not too many people, right? Well, okay, let's leave it at 23 for the moment and see what happens next. So there's quite a pile of people over here as well. Okay, so they're still not queuing for this coaster, and maybe we go into 33. Let's see if people then go in. Okay, that seems to be better now. So people, at least there were some people going in now. Okay, 33 seems to be about a price that is nice. Not too many, but some of them go in. Okay, so 33 seems to be a nice sweet spot for this coaster. What about this one? Still queuing up here? Yeah, still some people are going in. There's still a huge bottleneck, but well, whatever. 38 seems to be right. Okay, we just leave it as it is, and we also open the log flume now to see what's happening, because I couldn't open that any further at the beginning. The price is at 15 bucks, so that should be very interesting for people at the very beginning. By the way, for those of you who haven't seen the live stream, you can see there's been a lot done here. I don't want to hide this, because there will be an episode tomorrow with the process of doing this, and I will talk about that in detail. But if you're interested to see some of the process already, you can click on yesterday's, or like Tuesday's live stream. It's nearly 3 hours long, so don't mind if you want to skip through the video. It's really important to do so if you want to see the progress, but that's basically what we've been doing. We've been focusing a lot of this into this area, and for those of you commenting on a regular basis, you will know that this is really down to what you guys have come up as ideas with. And so this, I'm fairly happy, to be honest, with all of the input you guys gave me last time, how we can tackle this area. And I think we are really going into a good area here. It will be looking fairly awesome in the end, I guess. So what about the queue of this coaster? To be honest, it looks fairly okay to me. It seems to be pretty quick. What about in here? That's awesome. So this coaster works actually pretty good. Like, I'm super happy with how this coaster works, but to be fair, we also have to mention that this is also another area of the park. I'm also wondering if there is a second entrance later on of the park over here, then guests will basically also join from this side of the park. And I was also thinking of maybe we put we basically put a entrance over here as well, so that we do make the hotel basically not a hotel, but more or less like the initial point where you start going into. So like also like an entrance. I don't know if this makes sense, but just to make sure that the guest flow is working. By the way, didn't I set the information kiosk to be a info point for the? Nope. Let me just give. Okay. Select part. Wait, building? No. I want to go to the information. Sorry. Information 155. So where does this priority pass? No. Advertised destination. Well. Okay. Good. Okay, good. So, well, the information destination is basically the right one. The piling of people still is an issue. It's not as bad as it was before. So people are still queuing up quite a bit. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, I can't basically fix the issues of the game. It's simply not possible. So I'm not trying to too hard now. But I think with your comments, like changing the prices, it definitely changed things a little bit. So I think, what about the queue in here? So the queue actually improved dramatically. So you can see there is still a queue. That means people are still going onto the coaster, but not as masses as they've been queuing up before. So it seems to be really a nice, lovely little sweet spot here. The only issue I still have is that people still come in here and pile up like this, and then, you know, I don't know if this is happening as well if you would open the park from two sides, to be honest, because if people would go in here and potentially, as I said, in here as well, we might run into the good situation that they will spread a lot better across the park in comparison to what they've been doing now, because basically everyone is like rushing in here and no one else is going somewhere else. So you know what I mean. This is really also an issue in itself, so that we do have this very strict way of spreading them across the park, I should say. It's really a bit weird, but I think it definitely is. Okay, now it's spreading a lot better now because we also have the lock flume, which seems to be very much appreciated by the people. So the more people we have in these queues, also with this coaster, that takes away from the people over here. And I think slowly it's becoming a lot easier here. We still have the issue over here with this ride, to be honest. Maybe we have to increase the price a bit more. Sorry, I need to click on that coaster. Let's put it 39-ish. Maybe that makes people go in here less. I don't know. I mean, we need to run like a huge profit in this park now with like, I mean, look at this. It's like the potential monthly profit is like 11,000. This is insane. This is insane. Like, honestly. 12,000 monthly income. What is about this coaster? It has a bit of a better push through even. Oh, no, not that much, to be honest. Wow, okay. So we have just only 4,500 a month. Okay, the push through seems to be very bad then in comparison to the dive coaster. Surprising. So what about this coaster? How much of a profit we do have over here? Wow, 9,000 a month. What about the lock flume? Should be also pretty, well, it's okay. It's not pretty good, but actually we had 5,000 in last month. So why is it potential month? Okay, never mind. Let's see. I just want to see how the finances go in here. Okay, so shops and facilities do make actually no money at all. Interesting. So we are running like a crazy amount of money now in the last month, but this is only because of what we've changed. So this is insane. Like, look at this. Look at how the money goes up. August is with all the entrance tickets as well. Okay, that makes sense, but rides and tickets. So entrance tickets, park entrance sales. Yeah, that's what is the huge amount of money here, right? No, actually it's not. It's the coaster ticket sales. Okay, this is why I had this so high. Okay, never mind. I think this is also fairly important to look at in Planet Coaster. At some point, I really want to make this park a scenario, just for the sake of opening it up to the normal Planet Coaster money system. And I really want to see how the game, like the park, would keep up to the Planet Coaster regulations, so to say. So how this park would be, if it would be beneficial, if it wouldn't be. And the only issue I still have with it is that we do have no running costs, like in terms of like we have running costs of a coaster, obviously, and this kind of covers also electricity and stuff, but there's like no kind of money you need to pay, for example, for water and electricity in general. So this is a bit of a bummer, so to say, even more knowing that yeah, Planet Zoo will be capable of doing that. So, you know, it's a little bit of a thing that I'm, yeah, a bit disappointed about. But, you know, considering when the game is being released, and back then I wasn't too disappointed about, so it's just like complaining on a very high level. I like that it seems to be going a lot more easy now. And here it's pretty crowded, that's fine. This is how I like it, but it's not making too crazy things, right? The queues are not emptying completely, so people are still going on to the rides. Yeah. Okay. This is awesome. This is awesome. I would love that they spend maybe some time in making an update here that people are really would consider how long the waiting time on rides is, and that they then, according to the waiting time, they would decide whether they go there or not. Because honestly, in a real theme park, yes, this would be working. Like this is now, as the queue is emptying up a bit more, like you would definitely go into the one. Is it actually emptying up too much? It's really emptying up a little bit too much for my taste, to be honest. So maybe we need to go down to 33.10 or 32.10. I don't know if this increases the amount of people going in. Yes, it does. Maybe not too much, but just a little bit. So it's really about finding the sweet spot. So did we change a little bit over here? It improved a little bit, didn't it? It does. So let's go to 39.5. Maybe this makes people less willing to go onto the ride. Maybe not completely. Okay. Yeah, that's better. But honestly, like, no one on this planet would go if there's like such a crowd in front of it. How much is the queue emptied now? It's fairly emptied, to be honest. Why are you piling up here on the... Okay. Never mind. Are they waiting for priority guests here? I think they are waiting for priority guests, aren't they? This is interesting. I never saw that. I really never saw that this is a thing. Or maybe it's just a mistake. I don't know. No, they're actually doing that. So they're actually waiting for priority guests. This is interesting. But it's for my taste, it's emptying up too much. So we can't get rid of the pile, but still people are less willing to go in. Like, in terms of realism, I like that this happens. I don't like that the queue is always like completely filled. This is not realistic at all. So let's just lower down the price again a little bit. Like so. Okay, more people go in. Hopefully we found a better sweet spot here. Well, you know what? I should just start ignoring it and try the same with... Like, I think for next week, what I will do is I will put in another entrance over here, and I will definitely try to see how the park will behave then. Because I really feel like we need to tackle this completely different. Okay, now... the last thing I want to talk about, to make today's episode not too long, is basically I want to answer to one of the questions that have been asked the most, I guess, regarding the Guestflow episode. So, first of all, people were complaining about me actually doing nothing in a Guestflow episode apart from looking at Guestflow and stuff. Well, this is the idea about this episode and about this series in general. So if you are willing to see some progress and building, this is not your episode. This is not your video. It's totally fine if you don't watch it. This kind of video is really here to make sure that we improve the overall, like, not management, but the overall running of the park. Like, really looking into the things that make the park act as a real theme park, because we talked about hyperrealism, and this is exactly what you need to do. It's nice that we do look into building it as realistic as possible, but since I strongly believe that there is a really good simulation in Planet Coaster in terms of how the guests behave and how the rides are running and stuff like that, and shops and, you know, and staff management is a thing, and if you spend enough time into making it really work, what we do in these episodes over here, it really gives you a huge satisfaction, at least I feel it, to see how it all works better together. And I can definitely tell from what I see right now, we will be able to somehow make sure that this is not really that dramatic as it is right now with the people crowding too much in front of the entrances. So what I will eventually do is I will raise the prices from the beginning to the level we did right now, so that it's really queuing up a lot slower. So maybe this makes people go there less from the beginning. Maybe having a second entrance, having two major starting points for the crowds will again change the whole thing. Hopefully dramatically, so that the park in general isn't that crowded at one area and the other one is basically empty, as it is right now with this area. To be honest, this area is so much less crowded than the rest of the park, which is down to the fact that we don't have an entrance over here. So if people join the park, they will potentially not go here the first they do. They potentially want to go here first. And if they want to leave the park, they go back here. So basically everything draws them back into this area, whether it's the entrance or the exit or whatever. There's a restaurant, there is like an information, everything what is needed is in this area. So if we basically mirror this, not in terms of how it looks, but in terms of how it functions, and put that here as well, we might end up in having basically a 50% relief in terms of crowding over here, which could lead into a lot better overall guest flow. I think this is the next step we have to take. And then people were asking why I was using so many guests in the park, because realistically this park would not be able to cover more than X thousand guests. And I think that's a fair point. I didn't really think about this too much, and I just opened the park for as many guests as possible, because I also wanted to see how many guests are joining the park, just in terms of interest, in terms of how much we can use it. But looking at it right now, it really is already at basically max capacity for the moment being. I think there's like maybe 1,000 people more would fit if it's done, but this is all about, we can say, like, it's a small island, it's a fairly small park, so it's highly doubtable that there are like, I don't know, 20,000 guests or whatnot. However, for like experimental reasons, I really want to make sure that in the end I try to go for like opening it once for everybody who wants to join, and also make like marketing and stuff, so to see how many guests will go into the park and make it running still somehow, to just kind of test the limits of the park. This is something I really want to go for, but we still have to find the sweet spot, and at the moment it seems like the sweet spot is somewhere at 5,000, because it seems to work right now kind of nicely. The flat rides are not extremely cute and extremely filled, so we have to work around these as well. We still have the hotel area that isn't tackled at all, because people are not willing to go into the hotels yet, which is also down to the reason that I just opened the park and people are not exhausted yet, so this is also a reason why. But in the end, there's so much more to do still, and yeah. Tomorrow's episode again will be, as I said, the kind of time lapse from the live stream. I think that's still okay, because you guys want to see the explanation behind what I thought, and I can fairly understand if people don't want to watch a 3 hours live stream again over and over again. So this is kind of a little service for you guys I'm preparing, and then I'll be, maybe even tonight or maybe tomorrow or whenever I got time again, I will start building further in the park, and I will tackle the new entrance area to make sure that next time we can definitely test. And then, yeah, we are basically slowly getting towards the end of Isla Napali. I think it's realistic to say that like 20, maybe 25 episodes are left until we are really running into the end of this series. But, you know, time will tell. And for now, this is the end of Guestflow for today. I hope you enjoyed looking into it again. And thanks again for all the requests, changing the ticket prices to make people go less on these rides, which, as we can tell right now, did work out. It didn't change everything, but it does actually improve how this overall behaves. I think, well, this ride over here seems to be pretty empty for the moment being. Let's see if there's any queue at all. No, there's like no queue at all. However, there is a huge pile up at the beginning, which is weird. I think we need to change the prices quickly before we end. Let's put it to 30 and see if this will change the overall behavior of guests dramatically. It should definitely, but I think there's a fair issue here that it doesn't work at all because of the pile in front of it. Like, yeah, there's like nothing else that... I think it's not the price that makes people not go on it. It's really the problem that there is like such a traffic jam over here and people can't really go in like they would love to. So yeah, this is something we hopefully can fix by using a second entrance. But anyways, guys, I am, as always, really thankful for your support, whether it be via comments, likes, whatever, sharing the video, and please let me know in the comments below if you have any other little trick or hint how we could improve the guest flow with the coasters. As I said, I think the next step needs to be to make a second working entrance. But yeah, you guys will hopefully come up with some nice info and nice ideas in the comment section below. Hope you have a great day and see you in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye. We should be hiding out wherever we may find love that's flowing.